this, you know, the change and that have happened, this genuine listening. So something that I, you know, obviously during this period while we haven't been in school, there's been ongoing training with the staff and ongoing training with students as well. And also there's been a pilot of SF questions going out to parents and students. So I'm really interested to hear when students do return back to school in September, and after this period of time and the training, more training that's happened, what are they going to notice? What are they going to see and how are they going to really notice? What are they going to notice that will tell them that this has happened, that this SF training has happened?
I think that a thing to notice is, you know, perhaps it might not be, they might not know it's the SF training that has been a result of this, but I'm sure that they will notice a shift, just a shift in whether that be conversations or how they're feeling in school. You know, I feel that conversations immediately, you know, as soon as we gained SF training, it started to shift more towards strengths-based kind of conversations, and teachers were really kind of focusing on the things that we had and building on those rather than kind of focusing on, you know, the problem. And I think that going forward, that's not just going to be for the students, that would be for the teachers as well, because I know that, you know, teachers are really trying to, in staff appraisals, they're trying to use solution-focused language. And I just think people will really notice this kind of shift towards a more, you know, focusing on the kind of things that we already have. And I think, to be honest, that will then make people feel more relaxed. I think it make students feel more empowered to, you know, if they had an issue, they could go ahead and, you know, speak to people about it in school. They would feel, yeah, just more relaxed and empowered. I think there's so many different things that would happen, and I think will happen coming forward.
So more relaxed and empowered. So what will the teachers be doing differently exactly, do you think, Will?
I think the way which they communicate will be shifting, and I'm not, because, you know, Susie here, and there's a lot of teachers who have already got this kind of communication way in which we're always felt, they always make us feel empowered, and they make us feel like we're truly heard. And I like to think that as more staff and teachers are getting involved in this training, they will be speaking in this more and communicating in this more strengths-based way to inspire students and not make them feel demoralized in certain spots, you know, whether that be in class or whatever. You know, there's certain spots where you might not be doing so well with something, and just really having that kind of solution-focused kind of conversation of focusing on the things that you are able to do can really quite often build on and just inspire students to go on to do more things, I suppose, and really kind of build that.
So focusing really on what they can do, and that inspiring them. Yeah, I love that. And Will, obviously you've been part of the solution focused training with other students, and I know within that group within that mental health team, some of those people are your good friends too. And something that I'm really interested to ask about is, what have you noticed? What are you guys doing differently? What are you doing differently as a group as a result of having this solution focused training, would you say?
We're more, you know, we were always quite a kind of, we were not afraid to discuss perhaps difficult things, I guess, if that's the way to say it. We were not afraid to discuss perhaps injustice or whatever. We were quite open with talking about different things like that. But I think the difference is, since we've been trained in solution focus and we've been trained in this kind of mindset whereby you're focusing on things that you can do and you don't have this mental block, we are actually acting upon some of the things that we're seeing. And I think that, you know, I said to you before, a couple of my friends, we got together and just, you know, we went out for a walk or something, and we were talking about, I didn't know it, but there had been a problem with sexism in school, and, you know, in the lower school, and they made me aware of this, and we really talked it between each other. And we just, instead of doing what we previously do and just moan and complain about it, we were like, well, hold on a second. These teachers have given us the kind of platform, and we know that they're going to genuinely listen to us. So we have that kind of opportunity to go up to them and say, look, we see this as a problem. How we want to make a difference to this problem. We want to get involved. How can we help? And yeah, and that's what we did. And, you know, students, there was 3 of us that went up to have this meeting with the head of sixth form, and he really just took it on board and really made us feel listened to and validated and all these amazing things just going forward. And I can really see that the school has they genuinely listen to us and really want to see what we want as the school to change, I suppose.
So genuinely listening to you. And Will, that kind of makes me think about you talking about going and talking to the head of sixth form and having a meeting with him. And I mean, that's something that's happened in Beecham quite a lot, isn't it? That you're involved now in senior leaders meetings as well. And can you tell us a little bit about that, and what difference does that make to be actually involved in these meetings with the senior leaders of the school?
Yeah, so the school has a kind of mental health strategy team, which was set up 2 years ago. And I think right from the outset, it had at least a student involved in it. And now today, you know, we've got students involved in it, and they are at every point there with the staff, advising on the changes that they want to see and making sure that our voices are heard, you know, because we're all friends and we will talk to that person to then convey that to an adult. And it's just, I think, you know, that and having senior prefect roles, you know, for some students acting as a kind of, it's like a person you can talk to that will pass that on. It's just made us have a real sense of feeling equal. And, you know, there's obviously going to be that kind of level where, you know, staff are going to mark your tests and all these kind of things, that's just as it is. But they've made us feel really like we're truly equal to them, and that our voices are as important as theirs in the development and the future of the school. Yeah, it's an important thing.
Yeah, so your voice is really, really important. Yeah, I love that. And so what are the senior leaders doing that's different, Will, would you say? What are they doing now?
I suppose they're really, they act upon our advice, you know, they make sure that they communicate the fact that they are acting upon our advice, and they communicate results to us. They make sure we're updated in things whenever they get, you know, results. If they get results that there's been a 320% increase in boys coming forward to talk about mental health, we're always first to know as well. And that makes us feel that kind of sense of pride in the school and the kind of the progress that we've all made together, I think. And this communication has really kind of built a friendship between a lot of us and staff. And I think that, you know, all too often why shouldn't there be that kind of friendship? Because it's just really been amazing for all of us. Yeah, so the way the communication is building friendships between students and staff. Wow. And Will, for you personally, what difference have you noticed from receiving the training, would you say? Sorry, the solution focused training?
Yeah.
It's it's hard to sort of say in this short session, because I could just go on and on and on. But really, it's just been, I've been quite a positive, perhaps, person. And it's just helped me really reinforce, I think, you know, perhaps sometimes I haven't so much acknowledged the problem before, and it's just helped me to develop my kind of mindset so that I am acknowledging the problem, but still having this kind of mindset where I'm looking forward and looking to the strengths that I have to build on them. And I think, you know, personally, I lost my mum to cancer a couple of years ago, And so since there's kind of been this air in the house of where I felt perhaps, you know, even if I did all of these different things and spoke at conferences, I didn't feel quite ready to talk about mental health at home, because I didn't have so many things were just this kind of negative connotation, I suppose. And this kind of solution focused approach, it's just feels like, it felt like a light bulb moment for me, and really seeing that and really taking that on board and throwing myself into it really felt like I was able to start to open up and start to just build on the things that we have got as a family, because we have got things, and it's just so easy to forget that sometimes. And I think that's just something that we've really learned recently as a family.
Yeah, I love that, Will, that light bulb moment, and noticing what you have as a family. And yeah, it's been a real privilege to be on that journey with you. So Jenny's asked a really, really helpful and useful question. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that, Will? Sorry, before.
Well, I just saying, you know, you have been a really big part of it. You know, I can't stress it enough, really.
Well, your passion and for SF is just, yeah, it's wonderful.
I think that's another thing, you know, there are these people out there, there's people, young people like me, who really want to get involved and see change and do things. It's just really genuinely giving them that opportunity, which the school has really done, and you've really done for me. And everything I've gone on to do has been just, it's been a joy and an honour to do. And I know that there's going to be so many other people, so many young people in schools out there that want to do similar things. It's just giving them that opportunity in the first place to build on the things that they've already got.
Yeah, so genuinely being given the opportunity. Yeah. So that, what you just said, sort of ties in with Jenny's question about, you know, obviously you've left Beech and Cliff now, and your solution focused journey is going to still continue, which we can talk a little bit about. But how is SF and this legacy that you're going to leave, you know, how is that going to, we know that Susie's going to be a big part of it, but you know, about from the students' perspective and students taking the lead, you know, how is this going to continue at the school?
Well, this kind of relationship that we've built as students with the staff, we've kind of done it as a whole mental health team with the staff, and this whole mental health team has got students, you know, my age, the year below, and we've got students in, you know, the lower school, and we've got a year 7 who's really, and we've got year 7s who've spoken these assemblies, and these are obviously going to be there next year, and they've seen the importance and been witness to the change that the SF approach has had, and really will be witness to the amazing stuff that's going to happen next year with all these different new things happening. And so I just think that they're all going to build on the stuff that we've already learned all together. And, you know, I know we've talked about our best hopes, Tara, for what SF in the future will look like at Beech and Cliff. And I know one of yours, well, did you want to say sort of your best hopes towards?
I don't mind you saying for me. Well, go for it.
Sure. Well, it was just, I completely agree. It's this kind of thought that one day the students will be teaching the other students the approach. And I think by what we're really seeing now is the kind of the students really taking a kind of, we're developing resources, we're putting out films, soon to put out films of us having conversations in SF, and we're talking to our friends about the importance and the kind of progress that we've made in perhaps our own lives with SF. And it can just make students really curious to sort of see that and explore that, and we just give them the opportunity. And I think one big idea that we had was to have perhaps a member or a few members, as a few students in each year that we could train solution focused practice, and then they can sort of bring that out in each other's years, just to really, I suppose, get the message out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Will. And You think that's a good point to invite people to go into the breakout rooms?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay? Is there anything else, Will, that I could ask you that would be useful?
Well, it's just I think really I just want to stress the progress that we've seen because of students being able to genuinely take the lead. I think that is the real thing that we've noticed, that's the kind of been the big driver of progress, and that was the big first thing, that was the big sort of first break that we saw that's gone on to do these other amazing things, that once students are authentically allowed to tell their stories and to learn, you know, to learn and to develop and to train, it can have amazing results. And it's just, yeah, I'm just excited to see where it goes in the future, really.
Yeah. And also to say just quickly before that, actually I saw a comment about students inspiring students, but also students inspiring solution focused practitioners, because I know that I am continually inspired by the wisdom of the likes of Will and other young people that I work with. So Will, did you want to, we have a question for the breakout rooms for?
So I just kind of wanted just to kind of go looking forward to the future. What is this kind of little session? Perhaps have you noticed something that has inspired you from this session? What could inspire you to go on to do things in the future?
Great.
So yeah, I just invite everybody to sort of type that in the chat or whatever, and we can have a bit of discussion at the end if we've got some time.
And how long in breakout rooms? Because we want to have a bit of a chat at the end. Do you want to do?
Say 5 minutes or so, maybe. 5-6 minutes. Don't know, maybe a bit longer if people need it.
It's group of 3 to 4. So yeah. Okay, so I'll start the sessions now.
Thank you, Elsie.
Great, thank you. Great, is everybody, I don't know. Great, yeah, so I don't know if anybody wanted to just share some of the things that perhaps have inspired them for the future, whether that be in the chat or, you know, out now. If anybody actually had any questions either as well, if they want to ask either me or Tara.
I think, Will, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations on actually being the person that you are, and congratulations on giving your voice, and congratulations for being such an inspiration to many of us who are here, certainly from the perspective of, and I'm going to say this with positivity, you are saving lives. What you are doing is saving lives, and I am very grateful to you for that. I've been in a breakout group with Paul, who is sitting 3 down from me as far as I'm concerned, and it's going to be really, if Paul you feel, and also next to me, I feel a bit like the Brady Bunch, you know, if you remember that program. Anyway, I'll move on. Anita, and next to me, very interesting that you have actually touched people that I'm not sure that you have been aware that you have touched them in such a way. So very proud of you, congratulations, and young man, go far.
Thank you very much.
No thanks needed. No thanks needed.
Oh no, that's lovely words.
So anybody else that would like to share any of their comments or inspirations or any questions? Yeah, Paul?
Thank you. I'm just going back to the conversation that myself and Joanne and a couple of others were having a minute ago. Obviously, you talk about very much the students and their involvement in it. Is this a culture which exists right across the school in terms of involving the staff as well? We talked about, you know, doing this for the students. I mean, our school is very advanced in terms of their mental health support, but is there, like, do the staff feel supported for their own mental health needs as well as the students?
Well, maybe Susie, if Susie could be, oh, well, you go, sorry.
Yeah, I've just got a thought straight away on that. it's funny, when I was trained in the SF approach, it wasn't that long after the first kind of thing where I was able to get involved, and we had quite a traumatic experience at the school. And I was aware that obviously, you know, we were all going through quite a tough time. And I remember seeing a staff member who I could see that wasn't perhaps doing as well, you know, might have been struggling. And I just felt empowered. I think because I'd had this training and felt like I'd built these relationships with other staff, to go up to them and just ask if they were okay. And just to open that conversation, I think. And we've really given, at the same time as giving students a platform for talking about their mental health, we've given some adults. And in these assemblies, we sort of deliver perhaps anonymous testimonies from a teacher or something, whereby this not only kind of inspires students by seeing a role model, but it may have had the same effect for a teacher, had that cathartic moment where you're able to tell your own story, I suppose.
Tara, should I just chip in a little moment about the staff?
Yeah, is that okay? Is that all right, Will? I just thought it might be useful to, because Susie's been working on something at the moment around staff wellbeing. Yeah.
And I just need to echo what everyone's saying. Will, you're just like, wow. I mean, gosh, I'm sort of a bit too proud right now. I'm sure you're all noticing. We've been on a journey together. But yeah, as a result of all of this and everything that the students have done and led, it made perfect sense that this needed to extend to staff. Staff wellbeing is especially important, and especially now with COVID and lockdown and all of these other things, it's really given us a time away from the school to really work on that. And Tara touched upon the fact that we did a bit of a pilot with parents and staff and students and pupils, trying out having conversations with solution-focused questions. But what we're planning to start in September is a whole school approach using solution-focused techniques. So like basically every meeting that staff will have, from line managers down, every appraisal will have an SF element to it. There will be a script that meetings will always be forward-thinking and SF-focused. And as amongst our staff of 200, half of them have been trained by Tara, either in a foundation or an advanced way. Not everyone up to level 3, and some would like to do that. So what we're hopeful about is that not only are the students going to be trained to teach the students to have solution-focused conversations, but that absolutely everybody in every facet of school life are going to be having a greater degree of understanding of what a solution-focused conversation happens, and corridor conversations hopefully will flow from that. So I hope that helps, Paul, with your question about staff wellbeing and SF.
Thanks, Susie.
I just saw another question in the chat about who were the members in the mental health strategic team. So I'm not a part of it, so I don't know exactly, but I think it's the head of the school, safeguarding lead, Susie here. We've got two or few more student leads. Am I missing anybody?
Parents are involved.
Oh, parents, yeah. Parents, yeah.
Okay, so Will, we've got about 3 minutes left. How would you like to bring the session?
Something I was chatting about actually the other with Susie as well. I just wanted to sort of say it's really essential, I think, that people at the top buy in. You know, you've got the kind of lead buying into this kind of approach at the start, and then from then onwards, other staff can see the effect that this has, and that inspires them. And obviously, then you get students involved, and that inspires students, and you just have this whole, well, the domino effect that we've had, I think. And it's not that we've been kind of just given the tools and said, go on and do whatever you want. We've been kind of given the tools, and we felt supported throughout it all. And so at the same time as us feeling equal, and we felt supported, and we felt that we can always go to someone, perhaps, you know, back out a little bit and perhaps not do a delivery of an assembly or whatever. But we've just always felt that we can do as much as we are comfortable with, and the staff will always be there to support. So yeah, just another comment from me.
May I share something that just profoundly inspires me? And I had the honor of having a conversation with Tara and Will, and one of the things that really struck me was when, I mean, this theme here is giving young people the lead, and what I heard from the stories that Will shared and that Tara shared as well is that it's like on the one hand it's the staff giving young people the lead, but on the other hand it's also young people learning to give other young people the lead. And this is profoundly inspiring. It's really not only this, the adults and the 10th grade or whatever being equals, but then having kids from all levels. It's just beautiful to see, and how you describe your interactions with each other as students and how you describe your interactions with the staff and the parents is just amazingly beautiful. So thank you very, very much for sharing that.
Thank you, Elfie. Yeah, and just to add that it's about the work that we're doing in school. Working in partnership with young people is not just about their lives in school. This is about, and that's why I love SF. So it's about beyond as well. It's their futures, and and Will is already on his journey of taking SF into his post-school life and inspiring others. So yeah. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this conversation with us. It's been a real privilege to have the opportunity to have this conversation with Will. And Will, is there anything that you would like to add to close the session?
Yeah, it's just thank everybody for the opportunity for us young people to get involved and to have a voice and have a genuine voice. This the thing I keep going back to. Just thank you ever so much for all coming along and listening to me blabber on for about an hour.
Great. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.